The economic downturn in China has spilled over into the education sector, leading to significant unrest. Recently, early education and extracurricular institutions across China have been hit by a wave of closures, leaving parents struggling to obtain refunds. In some cases, parents have been told they may need to wait up to 30 years for a full refund. Gymboree, a renowned early education institution, abruptly ceased operations, leaving behind contracts worth tens of thousands of yuan signed just before its sudden disappearance. Harbin's largest early education center closed overnight, causing shock among many parents. Teachers who were approachable and friendly one day became unreachable or even hostile the next. Parents have since organized rights protection groups, with some demanding explanations at malls and others filing police reports. The sudden closure of Gymboree has been attributed to the economic slump affecting the company's management, leading to its shutdown. The American early childhood education franchise has faced closures and relocations in various Chinese cities. On March 19th, 3 Gymboree locations in Nanjing closed simultaneously, leaving parents, some of whom had recently paid for services, in disbelief. Miss Sao, whose child had over 10 lessons remaining at a Gymboree center, highlighted that her situation was relatively minor compared to others who had not attended a single class. On March 17th, sales staff were still actively selling course packages to parents. In Miss Sao's rights protection group alone, 210 parents have registered their unused class hours, with the least being 2 sessions and the most being 127 sessions. Gymboree's Nanjing branch is grappling with a significant financial crisis, amassing debts and wages, unpaid mall rent, course fees, and other liabilities. The combined outstanding amount reaches roughly 28 million yuan, equivalent to about $3.9 million US. Gymboree representatives have provided parents with a solution outline detailing 3 options for resolution: to issue refunds, use crowdfunding to rehire teachers and restart classes, or transfer students to nearby schools that offer a range of programs, from early education to fine arts with the parents' consent. However, many parents view these solutions as insincere, criticizing the 30-year refund plan and questioning the feasibility of crowdfunding and class redistribution. Gymboree, a globally recognized early education franchise, has been embroiled in controversies over closures and refund difficulties in China in recent years. By the end of 2023, several of its centers in Beijing had closed unexpectedly, adding to the growing disclosure on the challenges facing the early education sector in China. In addition to Beijing, several Gymboree stores in Shanghai have already closed or are about to close. Moreover, in January of this year, Gymboree announced the sudden closure of 4 cities in the Shenzhen area. These include the Mixi store and the Garden City store in Nanshan, the Yinli Center store in Futian, and the Mixi store in Buji, directly affecting over 2,000 parents. One parent from Shenzhen expressed shock, having just paid nearly 40,000 yuan in tuition fees for only a few classes before the abrupt notification of closure at the end of 2023. Since launching in China in 2003, Gymboree has expanded its presence to over 400 franchise centers in nearly 150 cities nationwide, accumulating more than 1 million customers. The centers operate independently under a franchise model with the brand. Education has always been deemed a critical investment by Chinese families. Amid the ongoing economic downturn, many parents have reduced their spending on education, leading to decreased enrollment in various interest classes. This trend has resulted in widespread closures of institutions specializing in children's talent development. Reuters reports that Zhang Xiaolin, a live broadcast worker, was laid off in August 2023 with many others. This led her to cancel her 10-year-old son's beloved soccer class. Facing a monthly mortgage of 30,000 yuan, about $4,200 US, Zhang cut back on all non-essential spending. She is not optimistic about finding a job with similar pay shortly. This year, the economic slowdown, worsened by tense trade ties with Western countries, business downturns, and substantial real estate debts triggered by an early stock market crash. Fears of ongoing deflation have pushed consumer confidence to historic lows. This crisis has deeply affected extracurricular activity providers, such as schools and clubs, leading to numerous closures. 6 years after opening a music classroom in Beijing, piano teacher Liao Hongyu has witnessed her student enrollment cut in half. The decline in demand compelled her to relocate to a smaller, less expensive venue and hire part-time teachers. Liao worries whether students would continue with their classes after completing the current courses. Parents are now hesitant to prepay for long-term courses, wary of both their economic security and the increasing risk of school bankruptcies. This has compelled educators like Liu to accept payments on a per-class basis, significantly altering the landscape of extracurricular education in China. He Baosang, a swimming coach in Beijing, reports that many swimming clubs or training classes have closed, with his school facing a monthly loss of about 200,000 yuan, around $27,800. The economic downturn has not spared any sports or arts classroom, reflecting the broad challenges faced by educational and extracurricular activity providers in China. China's continually falling birth rate poses an urgent challenge for the government, not only making it difficult for educational institutions to survive, but also leading to a decrease in the demand for obstetric services. This year, several hospitals in Jiangxi and Zhejiang provinces have ceased offering obstetric services, signaling what industry insiders have termed a cold winter for obstetrics. The 5th People's Hospital in Ganzhou in Jiangxi province announced on its official WeChat that it would cease obstetric services starting March 11, 2024. Similarly, the Jiaxing Traditional Chinese Medicine Hospital in Zhejiang province declared it would no longer carry out obstetric services from February 1, 2024. The closure or adjustment of obstetric departments in Chinese hospitals has been a growing concern since 2023. In December 2023, the Jinsha Hospital in Guangzhou University of Chinese Medicine announced the discontinuation of its obstetric services. This followed the cessation of pregnancy and childbirth medical services at the Ningbo No. 2 Hospital in Zhejiang Province in September. Earlier in May, the Kangnan County Hospital of Traditional Chinese Medicine in Zhejiang had also temporarily suspended obstetric and midwifery services. Despite the Chinese government's abolition of the long-standing one-child policy in 2016 and the subsequent encouragement of families to have 2 or even 3 children, the measures have not led to a significant increase in birth rates. According to data from the National Bureau of Statistics of China, the number of newborns dropped from 17.86 million in 2016 to 9.02 million in 2023, a decline of nearly 50%. The latest data from the National Health Commission shows a decrease in maternity hospitals from 807 in 2020 to 793 in 2021. As the closures of obstetric departments continue, policymakers are grappling with how to boost the fertility desires of young couples amid a severe aging population crisis. High child-rearing costs, reluctance to marry or pause careers, and persistent gender biases in traditional society have led many Chinese women to opt against having children. In efforts to boost the country's birth rates, several measures have been implemented. These include longer maternity leave, financial and tax incentives for families with children, housing subsidies, and enforcing a 30-day cooling-off period for divorces. Despite these initiatives, the measures have not achieved significant success. According to Voice of America, Li Duoduo, a resident of Beijing's Chaoyang district born in the 1990s, commented, "No matter how much the government advocates, the decision to have children depends on personal circumstances and the country's environment. It's not that raising children is too troublesome, it's that, under China's current fertility system, the cost of raising children is too high." Li Duoduo and her husband, a business assistant and a supermarket chain manager, respectively, earn a total monthly salary of 20,000 yuan, about 2,800 US dollars, which is not considered a high income in Beijing. One reason for not having children is the unwillingness to lower their quality of life, especially regarding education. Zhang Zhenyang, born in the 2000s, works in Shenzhen. He feels he cannot afford to raise children based on his upbringing and social understanding. Despite being able to marry, he is unwilling to have children without the ability to provide a solid material foundation. Zhang, along with many from his rural hometown, faced a childhood marked by poverty and feelings of inferiority. After earning a bachelor's degree through self-study and relocating to Shenzhen for employment, Zhang contemplates the stark realities of rural existence and the scant opportunities that persist despite diligent effort and education. His story underscores the profound frustrations and obstacles confronting many of China's youth. The well-known Chinese think tank yuan Population Research released its China Childbirth Cost Report 2024 in February, highlighting the unfriendly social environment for women's fertility in China. The time and opportunity costs of childbearing for women are excessively high. The report also mentions that relative to the per capita GDP, China is one of the countries with the highest costs of raising children in the world. According to the financial news outlet Sai, the Year of the Dragon, which started on February 10th, saw an increase in births across Chinese hospitals due to the dragon being considered an auspicious zodiac sign. However, demographers suggest that the dragon baby boom may only offer a temporary boost to population growth. The Financial Times analysis indicates a vicious cycle between China's declining birth rate and its economic downturn. The economic slump leads newlyweds to delay or decide against having children, while the decreasing birth rate exacerbates labor shortages, further hindering economic growth. The high cost of raising children, combined with economic instability and rising unemployment rates, has made many young Chinese hesitant to start families. Kevin, a young man from Fujian, illustrates this trend. Despite graduating from a university in Fujian more than 2 years ago and applying for numerous jobs, he found it hard to secure employment. The job market's increasing demands have made it particularly difficult for graduates of non-elite universities. Eventually, Kevin shifted his focus to preparing for postgraduate entrance exams, a goal he has been working toward in recent years. Kevin notes that many around him, including friends who became teachers, face issues such as insufficient salaries or low-paying jobs. This has led to a general attitude of resignation and passivity towards life among many young people. Chinese youth are grappling not only with the difficulty of finding jobs, but also with the issue of unfair resource distribution. The sense of lost dignity and justice demotivates them from striving for better. A controversy arose when a Northwestern University master's graduate hired as a high school history teacher at Anfeng Middle School in Dongtai, Jiangsu Province, was fired less than 6 months into the role after allegations of non-compliance. There is speculation that the job dismissal was influenced by others with better connections aiming for the position. From the passive lying flat to the competitive involation, young Chinese people have recently embraced the term 45 degrees to describe a life approach that is neither too driven nor too disengaged. This concept has resonated widely with Chinese social media, with many expressing their struggle with a 45-degree life. They are unable to keep up with the competition, yet unwilling to give up entirely, seeking a balance in life. The move among young Chinese to a 45-degree outlook, dialing down from intense effort 90 degrees to a passive stance 0 degrees, signals widespread despair. In the post-pandemic economy, worsening financial situations and fewer job openings amplify this sense of bleakness.